Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be reviewing the upcoming media for Phase 2 of the Star Wars High Republic campaign. In Phase 1, which took place approximately 200 years before The Phantom Menace, we got the story of the height of the Republic and Jedi Order, while they dealt with the rise of Marchion Ro and the Nile, and the eventual fall of Starlight Beacon. Now, in Phase 2, which kicks off later this year, we journey back 150 years further into the past, during a time of exploration and expansion in the Republic. If Phase 2 is anything like Phase 1, the amount of content can be a little bit overwhelming, and so I'm going to try to summarize all of the books and comics that have been revealed so far. The High Republic content has been released in waves, typically consisting of an adult novel, a young adult novel, and a middle school aged book as well. These go along with maybe anywhere from 3 to 6 issues of the comics that coincide with that same storyline or general timeline. So I'm going to try to break down the release dates and kind of the waves of different content that we will be getting later this fall. Now, just this week, Star Wars Insider Magazine released Tales of Enlightenment. From the artwork, it appears that this will be a mini-series dealing with the city of Jeddah, which I believe is going to feature pretty heavily in this phase of the High Republic. This will take place over the next couple months of Insider Magazine issues, and it likely will just be a fun introduction to Phase 2, and it won't include necessarily anything crucial to the main story. The first major release that we're going to have in Wave 1 of Phase 2 of the High Republic is the Marvel mainline comic, Star Wars The High Republic 2022. This first issue releases on October 12th and will follow a Jedi named Vildar Mack as he travels to Jeddah as its fragile peace begins to crumble. A nameless terror awaits him, and tensions will rise as darkness falls over the Holy City. This comic run is written by Cavan Scott, who is the same author who brought us the Phase 1 Marvel comic, also called Star Wars High Republic 2020, and so I think we will once again be very pleased with this storyline. The very next week, on October 19th, we will get the first High Republic comic from Dark Horse Comics. They are taking over the High Republic Adventures comic line from IDW Comics. And this will be a one-shot issue called Star Wars The High Republic Adventures Quest of the Jedi. This comic will tell the story of a couple Jedi who arrive on the mysterious planet of Angkor. They are seeking ancient artifacts of the Force, but quickly find more than they were bargaining for. What is this mysterious Echo Stone, and what does its existence mean for the continued survival for those who call Angkor home? I really like this idea of them searching for ancient artifacts. Hopefully some of these storylines will continue through Phase 3 and then come full circle in Phase 3. I'm also really excited to see the first Dark Horse comics for the High Republic era. Should be a good one to check out, and is a low commitment with it just being a one-shot comic. On November 1st, we will then get the first couple of novels released, with the middle school level book, Quest for the Hidden City, as well as Path of Deceit, which is part of the young adult line. Not a whole lot has been revealed about the storyline of Quest for the Hidden City, but it will likely deal with a small side story more than anything of extreme importance. It has been revealed that in Path of Deceit, we will follow a character called the Mother, a Pantoran Jedi, and an Evereni character named Marda Ro, who is likely an ancestor of Marchion Ro. This story takes place on the planet Dalna, where a group of extremists think that no one should use the Force. The Mother leads a group called Path of the Open Hand, which is likely this extremist group. One of this group's members falls for a Jedi Padawan, likely the Pantoran Jedi that we see on the cover, and it quickly results into all sorts of problems. We're not really sure exactly what happens. Now, there have been some reports of this book being released on October 4th, but most recently it has been November 1st as the release date. So we will see. Next up, there will be yet another comic, and this time it is a 4-issue miniseries by Marvel called Star Wars The High Republic The Blade. This miniseries will come out on November 2nd and is written by Charles Soule, who has numerous other Star Wars comic runs under his belt. It will follow Porter Engle, nicknamed the Blade of Bardata. We actually meet this Ikarukian Jedi in Phase 1 as a very elderly Jedi, and so it will be great to see him back in his prime. Now finally, on November 15th, the first adult novel called Star Wars The High Republic Convergence will be released. The synopsis for this novel is as follows. Jedi travel the galaxy, expanding their understanding of the Force and all the worlds and beings connected by it. Meanwhile, the Republic, led by its two chancellors, work to unite worlds in an ever-growing community among near and distant stars. On the close orbiting planets of Iram and Arano, the growing pains of a galaxy with limited resources but unlimited ambition are felt keenly. Their hatred for each other has fueled half a decade of escalating conflict and now threatens to consume surrounding systems. The last hope for peace emerges when heirs from the two planets' royal families plan to marry. Before lasting peace can be established, an assassination attempt targeting the couple tilts Iram and Arano back into all-out war. To save both worlds, Jedi Knight Gela Natei volunteers to uncover the culprit, while Chancellor Kayang appoints her son Axel Greylark to represent the Republic's interest in the investigation. But Axel's deep distrust of the Jedi sparks against Gela's faith in the Force. She's never met such a puffed-up, privileged party boy, and he's never met a more self-serious, relentless do-gooder. The more they work to untangle the shadowy web of the investigation, the more complicated the conspiracy appears to be. With accusations flying and potential enemies in every shadow, the pair will have to work together to have any hope of bringing the truth to light and saving both worlds. Now again, Iram and Arano were both part of Phase 1 stories, and so it'll be interesting to see a little bit of the background of these two planets' relationship and the struggle for peace in this era. So I'm excited to read this one. Now next up, on November 30th, we will get the first issue of the Star Wars High Republic Adventures from Dark Horse Comics. So this storyline, again, is more geared towards a younger audience, similar to the IDW High Republic Adventures line for Phase 1. And this story will follow a young Padawan called Sav Malagan, and joining the ranks of the noble Jedi Order has been all she's ever wanted. But a chance encounter with a crew of eccentric misfits makes her question everything she's taken for granted in her life. Trapped aboard the ship of the infamous space pirate Maz Kanata, will Sav ever be able to rejoin the Jedi? And if she spends too much time with Maz and her crew, will she even want to? This comics run will be written by Daniel Jose Older, so if you were a fan of his writing of the High Republic Adventures in Phase 1, you likely will be a fan of this run as well. And it likely is going to be a coming-of-age story for this Padawan character. And will just kind of coincide with the events of the Marvel comic run as well. The next release that we will get is the High Republic, The Battle of Jeddah. Now, the latest information that I have seen is that this will be released as an audiobook on January 3rd, 2023, and then be released as a hardcover script book, similar to Dooku Jedi Lost. And this will be released on February 14th, 2023. So this story will be kind of released all on its own with no other novels kind of in that separate wave. And then we'll have to wait until a little bit later in the spring until we really get the full wave 2 of novels. So that will take place on April 4th of 2023 with Lydia Kang's novel Cataclysm. And that will be the adult level novel. And then the book by Tessa Gratton, which is Quest for Planet X, which is the middle school aged book. Now, not a lot is known about the storylines for those two books quite yet, but it is confirmed that Cataclysm will follow the events of Convergence and the Battle of Jeddah. Then on May 2nd, we get the last novel of this wave called The Path of Vengeance. This is the young adult novel and is written by Cavan Scott, who is also writing the mainline Marvel High Republic run. And he also wrote probably my favorite book out of Phase 1 called The Rising Storm. So I'm excited for this one as well. We then also have a couple of projects that either don't have release dates yet or are not part of the main Phase 2 storyline. So the first of which is a Dark Horse miniseries called The Nameless Terror. Now we do have artwork for issue 1, but I have not been able to find a release date for that first issue as of yet. So if anyone knows when that one's dropping, let me know in the comments below. But otherwise, I'll try to get some updates to everyone as we get more information. I would guess that this will start probably somewhere in the winter time as an extra little mini series to go along with the High Republic Adventures line. So a couple other books we will be getting throughout Phase 2 are more accompaniment books. So the first of which will actually be released on November 8th, and it is called Art of Star Wars High Republic. This will be compiled by Kristen Bavers, who does a lot of the YouTube videos for Star Wars. But it will kind of be a collection of concept art, things like that throughout Phase 1 and hopefully Phase 2 as well of the High Republic. So that'll be a nice book for any, collectors just to get some cool artwork. On December 13th, we will be getting Starlight Stories. Now, my understanding for this book, it is the collection of short stories that were released during Phase 1 of the High Republic in the Star Wars Insider magazine. And so they likely will do this with all of the short stories that they are releasing during Phase 2 as well. So we can kind of wait on that. If you don't subscribe to Star Wars Insider, you can always wait and get those stories in book form later down the road. And then on February 28th, we will get a book called Chronicles of the Jedi, and the description of this appears to be almost like an illustrated encyclopedia of events. So it looks like it is a canon novel, and it will just give a lot of information about the events of the High Republic era. So again, for any collectors, that will be a really neat piece to just give a lot of history to look back at this era of Star Wars. So a lot of good stuff coming. I'm really excited for Phase 2 to get started. And, again, this is a running list. They may release a Wave 3 of novels down the road. Some of the release dates might change, but as of early September, that is what we have down right now. So let me know what you thought. Leave a comment below. Make sure to like the video if you enjoyed it. Please consider subscribing to the channel to stay up to date on High Republic content. Thanks, and may the Force be with you.